Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas here with you this morning and getting pretty excited. It's only a couple of days away. The Ohio Swiss Festival opens on September 28th, and here to tell us all about it is Bev Keller. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I have gone to this since I was a child. You are really talking about something that has such fond memories for so many of us. Tell us a little bit about maybe the history of the Ohio Swiss Festival. When did that get started and how?
Well, the Ohio Swiss Festival is actually celebrating 64 years this year.
Wow.
So 64 years of Grand Champion cheesemakers, Swiss Queens, Stone Throw contests, Little Swiss Misses. We've got a little something for everyone. Of course, our basic bread and butter is, of course, the queen of it all, Swiss cheese. And you can find that inside our fire station for sale from our area cheesemakers. We actually have 6 members of the Swiss Cheese Association. And so whatever kind of Swiss cheese is to your liking, we have it.
I think most people don't realize there is a Swiss Cheese Association. Who's involved? How is that all coming about?
The Swiss Cheese Association actually runs the contests that determine the Grand Champion cheesemaker. And so there are 3 contests throughout the year that you can earn points and ribbons at. And so far, our guys in the running is Guggisberg Swiss Cheese, which is located in technically Charm, but if you need your GPS address, you got to go to Millersburg. Mm-hmm. It's right there on 557. You can watch cheese being made there. Other guys who are in the running, we have Pearl Valley Cheese, which is just south of Baltic. Also at Pearl, you can watch them make cheese. And then we also have Broad Run Cheese. They're also in the running this year. And, that's a family-owned cheese factory that's just off Old State Route 39 in Sugar Creek. We also have Troyer Cheese, and that's Heine's. That's located in Bunker Hill, just outside of Berlin.
I think it's amazing that all these families did they all migrate from Switzerland at some point and found this area? And is that why they've brought all these traditions with them? And it's such a fun thing, but it seems like this all goes back quite some time, yes?
Yes, actually it does, Susie. If you look at our rich heritage and Swiss heritage, you can actually stop at our Alpine Hills Museum that's on Main Street in downtown Sugar Creek and actually learn a whole lot more about the Swiss cheese making process and how Sugar Creek and the surrounding Amish communities with our hills and valleys actually represent the Emmentaler Valley, which is in Switzerland. And there's actually an Emmentaler Swiss cheese.
And watching the cheese get made. These families, I don't know if they realize that their livelihood has given so much to the tourism industry of the area. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Absolutely, because it is much broader than just tourism. It's actually the family farm. I grew up on a dairy farm, and I will tell you that we shipped our milk to Guggisberg. It is a family tradition. I have seen Steiner Dairy. They still collect milk that's in cans, because those are things that are dear and hold true to the traditions that are in our area. When you look at the Amish farmers who may not have evolved to the level of sophistication that some of our larger farms have, you're still looking at small family farmers who maybe have 15 to 25 in a herd that are providing the milk that are done by these family dairies that are making the Swiss cheese that we enjoy, that keeps the Swiss Festival going.
And that goes all around the world. It is fascinating to me to think that these people actually know their neighbors who are producing the milk for them. They can wake up in the morning and see the cows grazing in the morning and then know that they're getting that milk from the Amish farmers, and then it goes into the cheese making process. The people come in buses from all around the country to watch. And you see, it doesn't matter where you travel, you see these labels on the cheese wherever you go. And how cool is that for this community?
It is absolutely wonderful for our community. And the Swiss Festival was actually started because at the end of September, there was a large influx of milk and Swiss cheese. Because the cows had had great grazing during the summer. But kids had gone back to school. They weren't cooking as much. And so there was a surplus of cheese and milk. And what are we going to do with this? The state of Ohio was asking questions. What can we do? What can we do? And so in 1953, there was a meeting of the minds, and the Swiss Festival was born.
So that's why we have the festival.
It is exactly
to help
why.
get rid of all the extra cheese.
Absolutely.
All you had to do was call. Would have been
Absolutely.
Oh, this is so great.
It's kind of funny. You can actually go back in time, and on QVC, they at one point sold wheels of Swiss cheese.
Oh my.
They were sold for $22.50 a piece during an airing, and those of us who are local know that we could have gone to the shop directly and bought them for $10.
Exactly. All right. Now tell me, before we get into all the festival news, what is the right way to store cheese? Because I hear conflicting accounts. I put it in the refrigerator. I have a friend who says, oh, the Amish ladies just keep it out all the time. If there's anything bad, just shave that off and serve it room temperature. What's best, Bev?
If you're looking for tasting quality, I would serve it room temperature. But I store it in the refrigerator during the day. I would get it out an hour before a meal. It's really good if you're going to have cheese crackers and, of course, trail bologna, because if there is a queen of the Swiss festival, it is Swiss cheese. But if there's a king, it is Troyer's trail bologna.
You've got it, yeah.
And so I would say leave it out for an hour and then slice it up. It's just much more flavorful.
And then at a party, it's all right for it to stay out for how long? Because milk, I know, is like 2 hours, but cheese, different?
Cheese has been pasteurized.
Okay.
So, cheese is a solid product. It might dry out a little bit if it's uncovered, but cheese in and of itself is wonderful room temperature.
Yes, it is. Okay, we are speaking with Bev Keller from the Ohio Swiss Festival, starting in just a couple days, September 28th through October 1st. Okay, let's talk, while we're on the subject of food, let's talk about the food that's going to be at this festival.
Well, of course, you can get fried Swiss cheese on a stick. And cheese niblets, and lots more cheese. And then there are the Amish country donuts. They're as big as your face.
Those are unbelievable.
Absolutely divine. And here's a little trick for those of us who need to watch our sugar intake. You see, you can have the big Amish country donut as long as you follow it with a piece of Swiss cheese.
Really?
And
Why
you're like,
is that?
how does that work?
We didn't just make that up ourselves?
No, we did not. There's actually science behind this.
Okay, good. Why?
Because the cheese is going to help you slow down the metabolism rate, so therefore you're not going to crash from the sugar.
So we can eat those wonderful big donuts.
You can have the big donut as long as you follow with some cheese.
Follow with cheese. Well, okay, twist my arm.
Ranson Andrews, who's one of the men who was behind the scenes making the festival go for years upon years, that was one of his things. He would have a big piece of apple pie and he would put a slice of Swiss cheese on there.
I've heard of that instead of ice cream.
And so there's some science in there.
That's amazing. Wow. That's why we learn.
But now if you want the creme de la creme, the thing you have to have when you're at the Swiss Festival,
yes,
it would be the apple fritters that are made by the First Mennonite Church. They're right downtown. These things are made from scratch. This recipe has been passed down from generation to generation. And they fry them up fresh as you wait for them. Have them with a little chug of apple cider. Oh, my goodness. Okay, they're going to start making these things. If things go well, they'll start making them on Thursday night, but for sure Friday morning. I mean, I know there are offices who send people on the office pool. I know in my office at the budget, we'll send people over at 10 o'clock to get a bag or 2 or 10. And
fritters for everybody at
fritters
work
for
on
everyone.
Friday.
Don't wear black because, they do put the powdered sugar on there. And so, you don't want to really wear the evidence that you've been snacking.
Okay, you sound like a fellow fritter connoisseur. Let's talk about fritters, because we are not talking about those donuts with little chunks of apple that some people call apple fritters. No. When you're getting festival food, the only real apple fritter is a real piece of apple. Tell us the recipe. Well, not the recipe, but tell us how it's done.
I can give you the process.
Yeah, the process is what we need.
Okay, so they core the apples. So hold down the middle. So it looks like a donut when they're done. Mm-hmm. And they slice them fairly thin. They store them in a little bit of water with Sprite in it so they don't turn brown.
Oh, that's a good trick.
And they're brought down in the whale of a pail buckets. Like we get ice cream in, they bring those down, and they batter them fresh right at the fryers. They're fried up for several minutes. They're dripping with this batter. They come out, they're crispy, they're hot. The apple on the inside feels like it's melting as it goes into your mouth.
Do they use a certain kind of apple? Because they melt like hot apple pie inside that delicious goodness.
They're directly from Hillcrest Orchard.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
They are
You're killing me, Bev.
I know. I actually had someone last year who their daughter couldn't come home for Swiss Festival, so they saved some for them.
Oh, my goodness.
And they were able to get them out on Christmas morning.
Oh,
Can you
gosh,
imagine?
what a perfect treat.
Okay, Christmas morning, real fresh apple fritters.
She
They brought
probably
them home.
cried.
The pictures on Facebook were like, oh my gosh, they look okay. We were worried about how they would hold up in the freezer. They froze them. Then they put them in the toaster oven to bring them back to temperature.
Oh, my goodness.
I wanted to drive over to Sugar Creek because I live out in the outskirts of Dundee. I considered driving to Sugar Creek on Christmas morning so that I could just smell them.
Little knock on the door.
Yeah. Knock, knock. It's Bev. Bev needs
Saw you on Facebook. Here we are.
Merry Christmas.
The other one thing I wonder about, and I should know this before I ask, but I'll just ask, what about fried pies? Are those there? Anybody doing the fried pies?
Actually, they're not done fresh at the event, but Valley View Community Church does have fried pies. Last year, I think they had 17 different varieties.
Oh, my goodness. Those also are just killer.
You see, you get those and you kind of stack them away for, later on. Because you kind of save your calories for fried Swiss cheese on a stick and then our amazing apple fritters. But we also have barbecue chicken that we are known for.
Oh, my.
A barbecue chicken dinner is $10 and it's all inclusive.
Really?
So you're talking a half a barbecue chicken, which is roasted over open charcoal. It is divine. The smell alone is enough to tempt the senses. And then we also have barbecue bratwurst, and we do bratwurst sandwiches with sauerkraut and stuff on them, and we can sell those as a whole dinner as well. Those are inside the fire station.
Oh, my.
And this year, the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts are actually helping serve those meals, and it's a fundraiser for them. So it's a great win-win situation.
Well, we need to support the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts of America.
Absolutely.
When you say complete dinner, what goes with it? What are the sides?
Oh, we have applesauce, we have potato chips, and of course there's a slice of Swiss cheese. Because what meal at the Swiss Festival would not be complete without Swiss cheese?
Got to have it.
You've got a beverage of choice and a dinner roll, and there you go.
Oh, my goodness. We are talking with Bev Keller, who has been with the festival for 12 years.
Absolutely.
Talk about what keeps you coming back year after year. It might have something to do with what we've just been talking about. We've been talking food all morning so far. We will get to the rest of the festival. But seriously, the kind of dedication it takes to volunteer at something like this. 12 years, Bev.
I know. I love what I do. I love being in the community. But for us, it's also being a family here. My husband helps with the festival. Our son helps with the festival. He's 16. And it's great. We hope that, one day we can pass that torch off. But we also know that, the first generation of folks who were involved, are slowly, not with us anymore. We've lost some great leaders actually on our board in the past year. And I will tell you that a lot of being involved is paying tribute to their honor and giving back to the community what has been given to us.
Yeah. It's something that's celebrating 64, or this is the 64th year. So you're telling me that there have been people on the board from that time? Or for many of those decades?
Yes. I can look back in time to Jerry Middaugh, who was the mayor of Sugar Creek. She has been on the board for many years and is my quote-unquote partner in crime usually during the event. You'll usually see us on a golf cart somewhere. And she's usually dressed in the Swiss. And I can't say that I've adopted to that yet. There's some Edelweiss in my dress, but I don't do the full dress because I'm running around like a chicken with her head cut off most of the time.
Yeah, that would be warm, really.
Really. But it depends. If it's like last year when it's raining and cold and we're worried about snow, hopefully we don't have that this year.
No, let's hope not.
We've had such a warm summer. I think it would be almost impossible to have that scenario, but anything can happen.
That would be quite a flip. We're talking with Bev Keller from the Ohio Swiss Festival. I'm hungry. We need to take a break. We'll be back after these words. You're listening to Our Community.